Welcome to Table Flippers Podcast, an outreach of Greater Works Christian Church here in Lancaster, California. I am your host, Robert Enos. If you like what you hear, visit us at gwcclancaster.org. That's gwcclancaster.org. Find the Table Flippers link, click on it, and you'll get to our merchandise. Now, get ready for a huge dose of truth and a huge dose of common sense. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're back for another exciting episode. I'm glad that you can join me. I have a couple of articles that I want to read, and I'm going to do my best to keep it short. Well, okay, I won't, but nonetheless, I do want to read some of these, a couple of these articles because this is very interesting. The first article, both of these are found in Fox News, and let's see, when were these published? Published April 12th, 2023, today. A little earlier today, and the other one, both of them are today, so that's good. This first one's title says, Walter Reed cease and desist order for Catholic priests violates the First Amendment, GOP lawmakers say. Defense officials say the decision was not made at the Pentagon, but rather the Defense Health Agency. And this is by Brooke Singman of Fox News. Exclusive. 24 Republican lawmakers are demanding answers from the Pentagon after Walter Reed National Military Medical Center sent a cease and desist letter to Catholic priests to stop providing care during Holy Week, slamming the move as a violation of the First Amendment. 24 Republican members of Congress penned a letter to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. In the letter, obtained exclusively by Fox News Digital, the lawmakers blast the Biden administration's attack on the Christian faith. Now, before I go on with this, I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden, Uncle Joe, even Nancy Pelosi, Aunt Nancy, both of them claim to be Catholic. Devout Catholics, by the way. And at least Nancy Pelosi was denied communion by a Catholic priest, and several Catholic priests rose up, put out videos and teachings and articles and things of that nature, saying, "Oh yeah, they don't get communion. They don't get communion because of their stance on abortion and other things that the Catholic Church is vehemently opposed to. They don't get communion." To which I say, "Yeah, true, right? Don't do that. They want to claim Catholic, then let them start acting like it." Anyways, let me go on, because the reason I wanted to point that out is because this is the Biden administration, who he claims to be Catholic, telling Catholics they can't do, these Catholic priests, they can't go and give their pastoral care at Walter Reed Medical Center. So a Catholic shutting down Catholics from ministering to other Catholics while claiming to be a good Catholic. This is how twisted and sick and deceptive this present administration is. But also keep in mind, as I read this, that it was 24 Republican members of Congress that penned this letter to say, this needs to stop. What's going on? It doesn't say anything about Democrats in there. I want you to understand that, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't say anything about Democrats. So here is an attack by this present government against Christianity, and not one Democrat stood up and said, no, we can't do that. Only these Republicans. So let me keep going. Last week, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center sent a cease and desist letter to Holy Name College Friary, a group of Catholic priests, ordering them to stop providing pastoral care at their facility. The letter reads, the same group of priests have served at Walter Reed for almost 20 years, and this order came days before Easter. So just a few days before Easter, one of the highest, holiest days in the Catholic Church and the Catholic faith, they're told you can no longer go in there and give them pastoral care. All right? And Uncle Joe claims to be a Catholic, and many, including Democrats that serve, that are voted representatives, claim to be Catholic, and yet this is happening. This is how the Democrats, again, I've said it before, I say it again, complete and absolute liars, absolute deception. And ladies and gentlemen, before I go on, let me just say one more time, get ready for this. If you vote Democrat, you're responsible for this. If you voted for these clowns, you're responsible for this. Anyways, so this letter, it says, forcing priests to stop providing care during Holy Week is not only morally wrong, but also a violation of the First Amendment, the members of Congress wrote. The lawmakers praised the Catholic priests who have stood alongside our service members through the darkest days of our history. They joined American service members on the battlefield and provided care to all in need, the letter says. The lawmakers are demanding answers from Austin on why the Biden administration sent the cease and desist letter, and why the administration chose to terminate the contract with the Holy Name College Friary. The lawmakers also claim that the Archdiocese of the military informed them that the contract for providing pastoral care was awarded to a nonprofit secular company that does not provide pastoral care. I want you to think about that. The lawmakers also claim that the Archdiocese of the military informed them that this contract was supposed to be awarded, or was awarded, to a nonprofit. No, I'm sorry, I take it back. For-profit. That's even worse. Awarded to a for-profit secular company that does not provide pastoral care. So if I'm reading that and understanding that right, these lawmakers were like, wait a minute. You know, this new contract was given to a for-profit company that does not provide any pastoral care because it's a secular company. And we're getting rid of the Catholics, getting rid of the priests, and bringing in the secular for-profit company that will not take care of their pastoral needs. So let me go on with this. Who was awarded the contract and why? They asked, requesting further contract terms, applications, review comments, the award letter, and all internal emails and documents related to the contract. This attack on the Christian faith by the Biden administration during Holy Week is unconscionable, the lawmakers wrote, demanding answers by April 21st. The Defense Health Agency told Fox News Digital that there was no cancellation of Catholic services at Walter Reed, especially during Holy Week. Palm Sunday Mass was conducted by the Catholic priests assigned to the hospital, and there were services on Holy Thursday and Good Friday. On Easter Sunday, confessions were offered as well as Mass celebrated by a Catholic priest, the Defense Health Agency spokesperson said. The Defense Health Agency also told Fox News Digital in an email that a contract was not terminated. As with most contracts, they have a beginning and an end. The contract originally ended December 31st and was extended until March 31st. The contractor was aware of the contract and date, the spokesperson said. A new contract was awarded to a different company effective April 1st. So if I'm understanding this correct, ladies and gentlemen, these friars, Catholic priests, were under contract. The contract came up December 31st, but they extended to March 31st. But on April 1st, the contract was then, as it says here, a new contract was awarded to a different company effective April 1st. And that new company is a for-profit company, secular company, not a religious company, or a secular company that does not provide pastoral care. Let me read further. When the previous contractor continued to provide services after April 1st, a cease and desist letter was sent stating the former contractor could not perform services since they were not under contract, the spokesperson said. So it sounds to me, ladies and gentlemen, like there's a double-mindedness. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth. Because on one hand, they said, oh, wait a minute. No, all these services were still there. We had Good Friday, Holy Thursday, Taco Tuesday, Easter services, all of this thing provided, and conducted by the Catholic priests assigned to this church. Nothing's changed. But by the way, we did send a letter saying they can no longer do these services. So which one is it? Because it says right here, when the previous contractor continued to provide services after April 1st, a cease and desist letter was sent stating the former contractor could not perform services since they were not under contract. But they just said, and it was quoted that they said, that the services went on as normal, just as usual. So which one is it? You either basically canned them and said you can't do your services here, or nothing's changed. This is strange to me. But this is what happens when you bring liberals into a situation. They twist, pervert absolutely everything. Nothing makes sense once a Democrat gets his hands into it. Nothing makes sense when you have liberalism such as this involved. Let me keep going. The spokesman added the current contract is under review to ensure the right services are being provided, but there was absolutely no loss of Catholic services to the community. Then this doesn't make sense. If there's no loss of Catholic services to the community, why the letter to say you cannot provide these services? Do you see how this person is talking out of both sides of their mouth? I assume that's their mouth. Do you see how they're so double-minded and twisted and trying to pervert, just clear understanding and facts? And this is what happens when you vote Democrat, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when liberalism gets a hold of things. It perverts and twists everything. Absolutely everything. Let me continue reading. The letter to Austin was sent by representatives, and I'm not going to read all their names because there's a lot of names here. There's at least or close to 24 names, all representatives, and every one of them, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, are Republicans. Republicans are the only ones in Congress standing up for our religious freedoms. The Democrats are the ones behind this, so they're trying to strip us of our religious freedoms. They're trying to deny our First Amendment rights. And the Republicans are standing up for it. Like I've said many times, you can point out a lot of things that are wrong with the Republican Party. You can pick out individual Republicans, and yes, I will probably agree they need to go. Mitt Romney, one of them. Rhino, all the way. But as a whole, party for party, there is no comparison. The Democrats are absolutely so wicked and so vile on every level. And at least there's a shred, maybe a small shred, but a shred of decency still left with Republicans, since it was only upwards of 24 Republicans fighting on behalf of religious freedoms and these Catholic priests and standing against this wave of immorality that's trying to strip our religious freedoms from us completely. So it says, priests and pastors guided our troops through the darkest days and our toughest battles. The Biden administration chose Easter weekend to kick Catholic priests out of the Walter Reed, violating their First Amendment right to free exercise of religion, Miller told Fox News Digital. I am proud to lead this letter to Biden's defense secretary to demand answers on this unconscionable attack on Christian service members and the First Amendment. The Pentagon, though, said there was an active duty Army priest providing Catholic coverage for Holy Week and Easter at Walter Reed after the cease and desist letter. But two senior U.S. defense officials told Fox News that the decision surrounding the renewal of the contract for Catholic pastoral care was not handled by the Office of the Secretary of Defense and did not involve the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The officials said the decision was not made by the Pentagon. Instead, an official said the contract was handled by the Defense Health Agency. The letter from the lawmakers came after the Catholic Archdiocese said in a statement that Walter Reed issued the cease and desist order against Holy Name College Friary, a Franciscan community of priests and brothers that has served the center for nearly 20 years. Walter Reed said the contract for the Catholic pastoral care was terminated at the end of March, just as Holy Week was about to begin. Walter Reed replaced the contract with a secular defense contracting firm that the Catholic Archdiocese argues will not be able to provide adequate care. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. This is absolutely stupid. That Walter Reed replaces these priests giving pastoral care to Catholic, the Catholic, what do they call it? People that are in the hospital, patients. I'm sorry, I'll get the word out. So these Catholic patients and these that are seeking for that type of care are not going to get it. Instead, they now have this contract with a secular defense contracting firm that the Catholic Archdiocese argues will not be able to provide adequate care. That's a no-brainer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but that's a no-brainer. You have this secular group that's not religious at all. How are they going to provide any kind of real-world care to the patients of Walter Reed? And this is supposed to be a good thing coming out of the Biden administration? Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to be Catholic to understand just how ridiculous this is and how dangerous this is to stripping away all of our religious freedoms, not just the religious freedoms of the Catholics and especially those that have served our country. Anyways, let me continue with this. For many years, a Catholic ordained priest has been on staff at Walter Reed Medical Center providing religious sacraments to service members, veterans, and their loved ones. Walter Reed said in a statement, "There's also been a pastoral care contract in place to supplement those services provided. Currently, the pastoral care contract is under review to ensure it adequately supports the religious needs of our patients and beneficiaries." The Walter Reed statement said, although at this time the Franciscan diocese will not be hosting services on Sunday, parishioners of the diocese, while patients at the facility, may still seek their services. The AMS was created by St. Pope John Paul II to provide the church's services to veterans and service members in the U.S. and overseas. The Archdiocese, which does not have geographical boundaries, is responsible for the care of 1.8 million Catholics around the globe. So you got the Biden administration canceling these Catholic priests from coming in there and offering religious pastoral care to Catholic patients in that hospital, and instead replacing them with what they say is a secular defense contracting firm that will not provide that kind of care. Have they lost their ever-loving mind? What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with the Democrat liberal mindset? And what is wrong, ladies and gentlemen, again, I know many of you are really starting to, if you did vote for Democrat, you're really having second thoughts about doing that in the future. Well, think no more. You shouldn't have any kind of first, second, third, fourth, fifth. It should be settled by now. It should be settled right in your heart and in your mind. Democrats are evil, wicked people. Democrats do not care about you and me. They've shown it over and over and over again. If they can't destroy life in the womb, they'll certainly destroy life outside of the womb. They don't care. It's just, honestly, for them, it's easier to destroy life in the womb because at least in that direct sense, their hands are clean. Not really, but you don't see it. It's behind closed doors. But then they destroy our lives by stripping us of our religious freedoms, stripping us of our ability to defend ourselves against home invasions, but also, more importantly, against them when they want to come in and start taking over. All right? They want to destroy life on every level that they possibly can. Why? So that they can try to recreate this world or this nation in their image. And if you're honest and you've been watching and looking at this and paying attention, their image is pretty ugly, disgusting, perverted, and twisted. And every time they get a hold of something, they turn that into something perverted and twisted as well. It is absolutely disgusting, this Democrat Party. Now, this next article I want to read is really interesting. It's actually tied into the first one, but I found it very interesting. Okay. And this, again, was published today, April 12th, 2023. And it says, rock icon Nick Cave says going to church, being a conservative, is modern way of, and it says just like this, effing with people. Okay, so I'm sure you can fill in the blanks, and if you don't know, you don't need to know. Longtime punk rocker Nick Cave is now an avid churchgoer, as it says, and this is by Brian Flood of Fox News. Australian rock icon Nick Cave said, going to church and being a conservative is the modern equivalent of effing with people. Cave, best known for forming the band's Birthday Party and Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds in the early 1980s, was considered an anti-establishment punk rock bad boy at the height of his fame. He sat down with Unheard host Freddie Sayers to discuss his book, Faith, Hope, and Carnage, which is billed as a look at his life from his early childhood to the present day, his loves, his work ethic, his dramatic transformation in recent years. Cave explained that he sees human beings in a completely different way than he did early in his career. And he said that he is now a more complete person. Sayers noted that the punk rocker turned church-going person might seem unrecognizable, but Cave said he simply gets a delight by effing with people and living outside the expectation of others. He said he sees the world in a completely different way, which included being aware of people, the brokenness and value of human beings after the tragic death of his 15-year-old son changed his life. I didn't have that political fury, but I was much more concerned with, I'm sorry, he just keeps saying it like this, effing with people on a different kind of level, a different kind of thing, Cave told Sayers. I was always sort of at odds with my peers, I would say. Sayers then asked Cave how he F's with people in 2023. You'd be a conservative, Cave quickly responded, drawing laughter from the audience. It's that today's equivalent, Sayers asked. Yeah, you go to church and be a conservative, Cave responded. In 2020, Cave spoke out against cancel culture when a fan asked for his opinion on the growing tide of political correctness. Mercy ultimately acknowledges that we are all imperfect, and in doing so allows us the oxygen to breathe, to feel protected within a society through our mutual fallibility. Without mercy, a society loses its soul and devours itself, Cave wrote on his website, The Red Hand Files, where he invited people to ask him questions with no moderation. Mercy allows us the ability to engage openly in free-ranging conversation, an expansion of collective discovery towards a common good, he continued. If mercy is our guide, we have a safety net of mutual consideration, and we can go, to quote Oscar Wilde, play gracefully with ideas. He went on to note that the growing tide of cancel culture in which people's careers and reputations are diminished, sometimes due to proven bad behavior in the past, and sometimes due to mere accusations, is flying in the face of the concept of mercy. As far as I can see, cancel culture is mercy's antithesis, Cave wrote. Political correctness has grown to become the unhappiest religion in the world. Its once honorable attempt to reimagine our society in a more equitable way now embodies all the worst aspects of that religion has to offer, and none of its beauty. A moral certainty and self-righteousness shorn even of the capacity for redemption. It has become quite literally bad religion run amok. And it says here, Fox News' Tyler McCarthy contributed to this report. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This gentleman by the name of, Nick Cave. Honestly, I've never heard of this guy because I was never into punk rock. I was never into that kind of music. So it's actually refreshing to hear that, although I wish he would choose different language. I'm sure he's a work in progress, as we all are. But nonetheless, he says, man, you just want to, I'll say it this way, mess with people, be conservative, and go to church. That's the new rebellion, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. There's an old country song that I was country when country wasn't cool. And so it's sort of like that for us conservatives, us Christian conservatives today. We were rebels when being rebellious wasn't even cool. When they tried to rebel against us, we are now the rebels. We are now the minority standing up against the foolishness that culture and society has embraced. And that's what I believe this Nick Cave is speaking about. It sounds to me like he's in the process of a true transformation. And I say in the process because he's just like all of us, we're not finished. God's not done with us. So it sounds like he's had an epiphany, something really clicked, if you will, and he's in this process of getting his act together, his life together. And I don't know which church he goes to. It just sounds like, he's had this, encounter. I'll call it that way. And so now he's part of the, it sounds to me like he's always been a rebel. And so he's still a rebel, only he's changed camps because, well, to be a conservative and a churchgoer is the new rebellion. And as I read that former article about Walter Reed Medical Center canceling the Catholic priests and keeping them from coming in and giving pastoral care to the Catholic patients in that hospital, now Nick Cave and these priests and most you and I, we're the rebels of the day. We're the new rebellion. And it shows because you and I stand up for righteousness. Okay, we stand up against abortion, against the transgenderism targeting our children, against pedophilia, against all that wickedness. And we're considered homeland terrorists, homegrown terrorists. We're considered the terrorists that seek to destroy America, when in reality, we are seeking to restore America to its glory. MAGA, Make America Great Again, has become like that term. Like, oh, if you're MAGA, you're evil, you're wrong. Making America Great Again has somehow become wicked in the eyes of the wicked, all right? Has become evil in the eyes of the evil. And whether you're a Trump supporter or not, you should embrace that idea. It's funny. Remember when BLM, Black Lives Matter, popped up and started doing these marches and these rallies and everything? Everybody was expected to support Black Lives Matter. We were expected to embrace them and support them. And because, if you didn't, you're saying Black lives don't matter, even though it was what they actually stood for beyond their title is what we didn't care for. Well, I'm going to say the same thing to all of you. If you're not a MAGA supporter, Make America Great Again supporter, if you're not a MAGA supporter, you hate America. You hate the people of America. You hate children. You hate lower taxes. You hate a healthy America. You hate a strong America. You hate America that actually works. No, it's just, we don't like Trump. No, you hate America because you have to. You have to embrace MAGA, Make America Great Again. You have to embrace it. The same way we had to embrace BLM and this transgender movement and Antifa, you have to now embrace MAGA. Because if you don't, you know what you are? You're an Ameriphobe. You're a freedomphobe. You're a Christophobe, conservativephobe, normalophobe, common senseophobe. If you don't embrace MAGA and all of its tenets, you know what? You're a hater. You're a hater. You're a racist of a different breed. Yes, you are. Hey, you know what? I think we should start doing that, ladies and gentlemen, because it seems to work for the left. Just make up a bunch of words and throw it at people, confuse them. I'm not a trans freakophobe. I like trans freakophobes. I'm not a trans freakophobe. No. Simply because somebody said it. Okay. I mean, this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the world that we're in right now. And honestly, some of you conservatives out there have been too spineless. Rise up. Say something. Don't let them label you. Don't let them give you a title, okay? Let your voices be heard. Press beyond it, And I would say to these Catholic priests, I would love to see, 10,000 Catholic priests from America show up at Walter Reed all at the same time. You can coordinate this all at the same time and just walk in there and see what happens. Let them try to stop 10,000 Catholic priests that are there just to pray, just to bless, just to visit the patients, just to shake some hands. Let's see that, do that. And listen, if you Catholic priests coordinate that, myself as a Christian pastor, apostle, I'll do my best to be there to join you. I'll even get a caller. I mean, that'd be cool. I'd have fun with that. But ladies and gentlemen, when we rise up, we win. When we rise up. When we rise up together and let our voices be heard, we win. This Nick Cave is one man, and look what he's doing. He's getting a platform to talk about not only his life change, but just the honest truth. Hey, you want to mess with people? Go to church and become a conservative. That'll mess with people. The new rebellion, the new punk scene is going to church. Can you see us all in church with, what do they call those? Like the Mohawk hair cuts or the big spike Mohawk haircuts, all bright red and, and the leather and everything. Man, I preach that. Well, if I had some hair, I'd do it. That'd be cool. We're the new punk group, punk resistance, whatever you want to call us. We're the new rebels in society. People that are conservative and go to church. Thank you, Nick Cave. And I do pray for you and, wish you all the best. And Walter Reed, you know what? You're going to face the music real soon, you guys. You're going to face the music real soon. God bless you all. Have a fantastic day.
Have you lost your ever-loving mind?
Thank you for joining us at Table Flippers. I truly appreciate you. You can write me at gwccrobert@gmail.com. That's gwccrobert@gmail.com. Please let me know how I'm doing. Remember to pick up some of our merchandise. You can find the link at gwcclancaster.org. That's gwcclancaster.org. Until next time, be continually blessed.
Chippy the Chipmunk loves table flippers.